YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
And a big hello to everyone. Happy Tuesday to you. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. I am here until 6 o'clock. Yeah, we got some time together. So if you're interested, reach out, give me a call. We'll talk some sports together. There's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on in the sports world. And we're going to cover it right here, right now. High school, all the way to the professional levels. Anything that you guys want to talk about. You know, if you're interested in calling, reaching out, asking me a question, I take questions. Yeah, we can do that as well. You know, it's really... It is what it is, whatever we feel like doing here on the Scoreboard. We have, later on tonight, some high school playoffs that will be taking place. Yeah, you heard me correctly, high school playoffs today. We have the soccer scene kicking back off with the regional matchups taking place later on tonight. A lot of these games are going to start right around 6 o'clock, right when I'm off the air here. 6 o'clock, a couple of them at 7 o'clock. So that's what you have to look forward to in the local high school scene tonight. Now, we can also start talking a little bit about high school basketball. I know there's a lot of programs out there that have started their season already. Game number 1 underway. We're going to get there. I promise we will get to high school basketball. Winter sports around the corner. They're going to be starting up really soon, but we got to get through playoffs for these fall sports. And we're almost at the end of the fall season. The football season is going to take a little bit longer than it normally does, I feel like. We are going to crown a state champion well into December. And I mean well into December. We're talking about a couple of days before Christmas is when we're going to have a state champion in football. So we're going to put that on the back burner for now. We're going to go into the high school soccer scene. They're only a couple of games away from declaring some state champions. We're also going to talk about some national sports. Yeah, some more professional stuff. I want to get into the NBA, the NHL. Those are a couple of leagues that have started up that we really haven't given much attention to. And that's because their seasons have just started. We're in the middle of the NFL season. There's other things going on that we can talk about, right? Well, in the NBA, there is a team out there that is trying to break basketball. And I mean literally break basketball. Like the way that you probably grew up knowing and playing basketball, yeah, this team is breaking that thought. It's the Boston Celtics, in case you didn't know. Now, I saw a stat not too long ago, from earlier today, actually, that was talking about the Warriors when they won their first championship with Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond, all those guys, Andre Iguodala on that team as well. The Warriors at that point averaged 31.2 or somewhere around there, 31 point some odd, 3-point attempts per game. Well, we are now in 2024, and the team that is averaging the fewest 3-point attempts per game is the New Orleans Pelicans, who are averaging 32.1 3-point attempts per game. that is. Man. So the team that is shooting the least amount of three-pointers per game is shooting the same number of threes per game as the Warriors back when they won their first title. That begs the question, what is the team that's shooting the most three-point attempts per game doing? That would be the Boston Celtics, like I said, and we're going to get to it. We'll get to it. I promise. Stay tuned. We're also going to get into some things going on in the sports world. Yesterday, there were a few stories that broke regarding starting quarterbacks. We found out Bryce Young is going to continue to start. We found out Daniel Jones is done in New York. They're going back to Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito, if you will. And we're also going to talk some hockey. You know, the Hornets, or I'm sorry, not the Hornets, the Hurricanes having a good start to the year. And I mean, really good start to the year. They're one of the best teams in the NHL right now. And we're about 15 games in, 82-game season. We're about 15 games in. So not even at the 1/4 mark just yet. But I always say it, and I will continue to say it, getting off to a strong start is essential. They're like the NFL. Look at the Vikings. They got off to a great start on their season. Now look at them. They're going to have to fight not only to make the playoffs, but to win that. Well, not only to win the division, but also make the playoffs. I mean, when you look at where the Vikings stand right now, 8-2, yeah, that's real good. But now they're behind the Lions, who are 9-1. So a fast start is imperative, and I'll tell you what, the Hurricanes have done just that. But I want to get backtrack a little bit and get into this soccer games that are coming up later on tonight. Starting with the 1A bracket, we are in the regionals. So the west side of the state has a matchup of number 13 Mount Airy playing number 2 Bradford Prep. That is later on tonight at 6 p.m. Now, there is a game on the eastern side of the state, and the winner advances to the state championship game. That east side matchup is Voyager Academy versus Hobton High School. That is a 9 and a 2 seed, respectively. Moving on to the 2A bracket is the 1 seed Southwestern Randolph High School playing number 14 Lincolnton. Yeah, number 14 Lincolnton making it to the regionals. Their first upset was against number 3 West Stokes back in round 2. Then they beat number 6 Pine Lake. So sad for Pine Lake. And then they beat number 15 Patton High School. So we have a 14 seed out of the western part of the state in the final 4 matchups. It's number 1 Southwest Randolph versus number 14 Lincolnton. And on the east side of the state, Clinton High School plays Green Central High School. In the 3A bracket, it stays pretty much chalk here on the west side of the state. Ashboro High School, the 1 seed, playing number 2 AC Reynolds. On the other side, it is Southern School of Energy and Sustainability, the 5 seed, playing the 2 seed Western Alamance High School. And in the 4A bracket, it's number 17 Charlotte Catholic, playing number 6 Marvin Ridge. The winner will play the winner of Green Hope High School, the 12 seed, and Wakefield High School, the 3 seed. So like I said, we got high school soccer playoffs. If you're interested, it's out there for you. We are getting close to declaring some state champions. We got to go to our first commercial break of the day. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a pretty mild start to the week around Lake Norman. We'll see some extra clouds today with the occasional patch of drizzle or a passing shower. Better chance for that, though, will come once we get into this evening. We'll keep those clouds around with a few passing showers, maybe even a thunderstorm for Wednesday as our cold front makes its way through the area and big-time changes arriving for Thursday with cold and wind. Get ready. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The app with Lake Norman deals. The WSIC app is out now. wherever you get your apps.
Cakes, cookies, toys, and gifts.
The Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Buy tickets at southernChristmasShow.com. Online tickets courtesy of Kraft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins Friday. The Holiday Light Show features more than 5 million lights on a 4-mile course through the Oval, Pit Road, and infield. The show also has drive-in movies on the gigantic Speedway TV. Speedway Christmas tickets and information are available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. The Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department will host a barbecue chicken fundraiser on Saturday from 1 p.m. until they're sold out. The event will be at Station 1, located at 501 Brewerton Park Road off Taylorsville Highway in Stony Point. The meal includes barbecue chicken, baked beans, slaw, roll, and dessert for $10 per plate and will be a drive-through event. The proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards projects for the fire department. For further information, call the Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department at 704-585-2519 and leave a message. Sunday Fun Day returns to Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum takes the stage at 4 p.m. for a free concert powered by Waves Entertainment. Grab your chairs, your dancing shoes, and your friends to enjoy cold brews and a fun outdoor concert by Rattle and Hum. We'll see you Sunday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for Sunday Fun Day. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Nothing says wow like a gift from Harrison's. Get what they want and what they need thanks to our huge selection of work staples and Western favorites from Ariat, Carhartt, Wrangler, and more. And there's nothing merrier than a new pair of boots from Harrison's. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard on this Tuesday. A reminder to you loyal WSIC listeners. Join us for trivia. Yes, trivia later tonight at Micaiah's in Mooresville. We'll have some fun. I promise. It's going to be a fun time. It's Big Bang Theory trivia. I didn't watch it religiously, but I've seen plenty of those episodes. It's a good show. Good show. Funny show. So if you're interested, come on out to Micaiah's Bar in Mooresville. We're going to do some trivia. Me and Patrick Reynolds. Patrick Reynolds will be on the mic. I'll be kind of running things in the background. You're not going to hear from me all that much, I promise. So join us later on tonight, 8 o'clock at Micaiah's. We just talked about the high school soccer scene. We're getting close to crowning some state champions in the world of soccer. We'll continue to give you updates on who's advancing once they come to us. I started the show by talking a little basketball. And let's move towards the NBA right now. Right now, your conference leaders, I should say, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 15-0. The Cavaliers have yet to lose a game. In the West, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, 11-3, in front of the Golden State Warriors, who are 10-3. Now, last year was a tough year for the Hornets. Definitely was. I don't think we were expecting too much from them. We know that they're in a rebuilding phase. We know that they're trying to get some talent into the program, see if they can build it and, get a good team here in a year or two. But this year, things are not horrible. Starting out the year in our first 13 games of the season, 5 wins and 8 losses. That's not horrible. And just so you guys know, we are in the midst of the NBA Cup. So do with that information as you will. The Hornets do have a game tonight against the Brooklyn Nets in their Emirates NBA Cup 2024 run. I think it was cool last year that they did the NBA Cup. Like, I wanted to see if it drew up excitement, if there was a spark. And I will say, it looked like, at least from watching it on TV, it looked like a mix between regular season and playoff basketball. It did. It didn't have the feel of just another regular season game, but it didn't have the feel of, all right, this is the NBA Finals, we're going to win a championship. Year 2 now of the NBA Cup, I'm afraid that the general public is starting to lose interest. Maybe you didn't even know that we were in the NBA Cup. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about that. Yeah, we actually are 2 games in. Most of these teams are 2 games in to the NBA Cup. There's a few that need to play their second game, one of those being the Hornets, who are going to play later on tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if this is something that's going to stay. I want to see year 1 compared to year 2, the ratings. I want to see once we get to eliminations, once we get to the playoff, I guess, as you will call it, in the NBA Cup, do the players still think that it's a big deal like they did last year? Remember, last year it was the Lakers who won the NBA Cup. Inaugural NBA Cup champion, Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, they didn't end up winning it all, though. They did not win the big prize. Excuse me. Choked on my spit there. So the NBA Cup is going on. And basketball is different than it used to be. You know, if you grew up anything more than 10 years ago, you probably aren't used to seeing the basketball that we're seeing out there today. The Boston Celtics are an anomaly right now. They won the championship last year, dominated the East, and they didn't really have much competition in the NBA Finals. I mean, credit where credit's due, the Dallas Mavericks had a great season, but they just weren't up to par with the Celtics. Does anybody see the amount of three-point attempts that the Celtics take per game? The Celtics lead the NBA in three-point attempts per game. 51.1 three-point attempts per game. 51! I don't know if... I mean, that's... Okay. If you're making your threes, you're probably going to win. But that's the thing, is you got to make your threes. I just find it absolutely incredible that in today's day and age, we are now in 2024. Steph Curry, you could say, is in the twilight of his career. He may have had one of, if not the biggest impact on the game of basketball ever. Yeah, we've had three-point shooters before. You have a specialist on the team, right? But never anybody like Steph Curry. And think back to the Olympics only a few months ago, right? Remember Steph Curry? He took control of the Olympics and just started firing threes from range, burying them. Steph Curry changed basketball. He changed the way people think about basketball. And the Celtics, they're taking that to the extreme this year. They are averaging 9 more three-pointers per game than anybody in the NBA. Now, their three-point percentage, it's okay. They're 10th best at 37%. But 37% averaging 51 threes a game is much better than 37% if you're only averaging what the Clippers average, which is 34 attempts per game. When you look at three-pointers made per game, you guessed it, it is the Celtics. 18, almost 23-point attempts made per game. That is 60 points almost. That's a big chunk. And if the percentage is there, if the three-point percentage is there throughout the year, man, this Celtics team could be dangerous the way they throw up three-pointers. So the Celtics right now are second in the East behind the Cavaliers. Cavaliers 15-0. Celtics are 11-3. When you look at the NBA schedule, we have a lot of games in the NBA Cup that are going on today. One of those teams is the Boston Celtics. It's actually going to be the number 1 and number 2 team in the East squaring off each other in the NBA Cup. Game 2, I believe, for both of these teams. The Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics are going to tip off from TD Garden at 7 p.m. tonight. The Hornets are going to be in the Barclays Center. That's in Brooklyn, New York at 7:30. One thing that I got to give the NBA credit about is they try their best to stagger the start times of their games. You know, we have a limited amount of games today, but we have a game that starts at 7, a game that starts at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30. Compare that to other leagues. Everybody's starting right around the same time. And I mean, the NFL, we can take them out of the equation. 17 weeks, 18 weeks on the year. You have Red Zone. You have Sunday Ticket. You can watch any game you want. We're going to take them out of the package here because I think it's a little different when you're comparing a sport that has 18 weeks, 17 games, to the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, which has 82 or 162, depending on the sport. So, with the staggered start times, I like it. You get to see a lot more action. I mean, just look at the NHL. If you look at hockey and the way that they have their games, you either start at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, depending on where you are in the country. All the Eastern Coast teams, you're a 7 o'clock start time. You are starting your game at 7. And the NHL, they've gotten a little bit better at this in the past few years. Just take a look at Frozen Frenzy from about a month ago now, where every single NHL team was playing, right? Every team played, and every game was staggered start times, 15 minutes apart, each and every one. You look at the NHL today, you got 2 games starting at 7, 2 games starting at 8, and you got a couple of games starting at 9 and 10. Yeah, they're spread out, but I'd like to see it staggered a little bit more, especially those games that are at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. You know, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30. What's the problem with that? I feel like you get more exposure to your league if you were to do that. Because you get to intermission, all right, let's click over to another game. Can't do that for the most part because, well, they're in intermission too. We'll be right back.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a pretty mild start to the week around Lake Norman. We'll see some extra clouds today with the occasional patch of drizzle or a passing shower. Better chance for that, though, will come once we get into this evening. We'll keep those clouds around with a few passing showers, maybe even a thunderstorm for Wednesday, as our cold front makes its way through the area and big-time changes arriving for Thursday with cold and wind. Get ready. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Folks, here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we have got the brand new 2025 Chevrolet Traverse in stock, all redesigned from front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Come see them today. We have got a great selection of these new Traverses ready for you to take home. And also, we got great discounts on our Silverado trucks. We got the regular cab, crew cab, double cabs, discounted up to $9,000 off. Great selection, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
This holiday season, start with jazz. Friday, November 29th, Joe Granston's Little Big Band kicks off the holidays with a lively big band holiday show. Feel the spirit of the season with festive classics that are sure to lift your holiday spirit. Get your tickets at canarts.org.
Tilly Harley-Davidson is simply the best, and their service department is second to none. Right now, 1K, 5K, and 10K M8 service is only $351.25 plus tax, including SIN 3 and heavy gear oil. Stop by to schedule your next service or online at TillyHD.com. Be road ready with Tilly of Statesville.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. One of the biggest mistakes a team in sports can make is overlooking an opponent. If a team has a casual attitude in competition, it can quickly lead to a big upset and negative results. If we aren't careful, a similar mindset can take over when it comes to our view of certain sins, as we can take particular sins lightly and overlook the importance of obedience. There are topics that God's word emphasizes more than others, but at the end of the day, sin is sin. And if we want to truly honor God, we can't pick and choose when we take obedience seriously. Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. We need to keep our heart fully devoted to God so we can maintain a deep desire for obedience. We're not going to go undefeated, but let's be sure to always take our opponent seriously. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. On Wall Street, stocks ended the day mixed, mostly higher, though, thanks to gains in the tech sector and easing worries about Russia, which threatened to use nuclear weapons in its war against Ukraine. After beginning the day down more than 400 points, the Dow lost just 121, a 0.25% lower. The Nasdaq was up 1%. It added nearly 200 points, and the S&P added 23. Shares of AI chipmaker NVIDIA up nearly 5% today, their best day in months. That's ahead of tomorrow's earnings. That's what gave the tech sector a boost. Walmart was higher, too, up 3% after an earnings beat, thanks to a boost in sales in the grocery aisle and other parts of the store as people of all income levels looked for bargains. And a setback in housing, new home construction declining in October to the slowest pace in 3 months. But that was because of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, which slammed parts of the South where most home building takes place. High mortgage rates back near 7%, also a big issue. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Hope we're doing good today. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. If you have something on your mind, question, something you want to chat about, I'm here for you. We got about 25 more minutes. I think it's pretty funny that yesterday we started talking about the college football playoff. And now I'm seeing ESPN talk about the same things that we were talking about. I was watching ESPN the other day, and they're talking about, actually yesterday after my show, last night I was watching it, and they were talking about college football playoffs, the 12-team playoff, the standings, the conference championship games, what does it mean? And they asked the exact same thing that I asked yesterday. What happens if you're right on the cusp and you make the conference championship game, but you lose? Like, do you get penalized for losing a conference championship? Yeah, you do. We've seen it happen. You get penalized. It's still a game you got to win. It's going to be an absolutely insane run to the finish here. When you look at the college football schedule, where we're at, how many more weeks remain, we're only a couple of weeks away. We got week 13 of the college football season coming up this weekend. Next weekend is week 14. And then conference championship week. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Conference championship week is only a couple of weeks away. Then we'll get into Army-Navy, which I guess is going to be a big game for Army, possibly being able to get into the playoffs. But later on tonight, we will see the rankings from the College Football Playoff Committee. We will see where they have everybody ranked. And we've already gone over the AP poll, and we've already talked about the implications of losing a tight game. I'm pretty sure one of the games this weekend, and I'm going to double check on this real quick. Yeah, we have a Big Ten game against two top 5 teams. Now, it's Ohio State and in Indiana. They're going to be playing at Ohio State. When you look at the Big Ten, right now, Indiana is ranked 5th. Ohio State is ranked 2nd, but because of conference records, Indiana is actually ahead of Ohio State in the conference standings. Indiana 7-0, Ohio State 6-1. This game could determine who plays for the conference title. And if you're Indiana, do you want to win this game? I mean, we just talked about it. Sure, maybe they go play Oregon in the Big Ten championship. How far do they fall if they lose? How far do they fall if they lose to Ohio State? Indiana, number 5, 10-0 right now on the year, 7-0 in the conference. I've never been more curious just to see how things are going to lay out once we're done. We don't have that long to wait. We have college football coming up tonight. Yeah, later on tonight, some college football. We got Maction, Tuesday night Maction, baby. Akron at Kent State, Western Michigan at Central Michigan, Northern Illinois at Miami, Ohio. So there's football every single day of the week. Wednesday, we got a few games, some more Maction going on. Thursday, there's one game. It's actually NC State is going to be playing Thursday night. Interesting that we have college football going up against the NFL, but hey, that's the state of sports that we live in right now. You're going to play on every single day. Then we got a couple on Friday, and obviously the big slate of games coming up this Sunday. Some to keep an eye, or Saturday, I should say. Big games coming up this Saturday. The biggest one is definitely Ohio State and Indiana. You have a few big games in there as well. A lot of layup games, though, is what I'm seeing. Like, you got Miami playing Wake Forest. Georgia plays Massachusetts. Tennessee is playing UTEP. So there's not that many extremely great games this week. Now, obviously, college football, there's always good games on. You're always going to find a good game. One other one I failed to mention so far, actually. There is another big game that's going to be at 7 o'clock on NBC. Number 8 Notre Dame taking on Army. That is going to be something to be seen, man. Army is ranked 24th in the college football playoff, I believe, but the AP has them in the top 20. I know the discrepancy is weird. It's always been weird. I've always found it weird, but that's just where it is. Now, if Notre Dame loses to Navy, Notre Dame might be out of the playoffs, even only at 2 losses. Because you got to think Notre Dame does not have the chance to get an automatic bid. And this was the debate going into this of should Notre Dame's football team join a conference? Should they stay as an independent? Well, if you have a conference and you can get to your conference championship game and you win it, it really doesn't matter where you're ranked, especially if you're in like the ACC or the Big 12 or Big 10, SEC, obviously. Those are the 4. Maybe the Pac-12 will come back and be that good again, where it's a conference and you can get an automatic bid out of it. But as an independent, you're not going to be playing during conference championship week. And if Notre Dame ends up losing to Army, it's going to send a spiral to these rankings. I love the chaos. I do. And I'll go back to who's going to be playing in these conference championships. We don't know. You could have a top 7 team just not playing in the conference championship because they're not one of the top 2 teams in the conference. Maybe number 17 or something is playing. They win. They get an automatic bid. Everything shifts. I love it. It's going to be a mess. And we're only a few weeks away from total insanity. And I know I've been saying it. I don't really feel bad for the traditionalists out there who, oh man, college football championship game should be between the top 2 teams in the country. No, it shouldn't, because those aren't the 2 best teams in the country. It's never been the 2 best teams in the country. At least with a playoff, it's more defined. Yeah, you beat all of these really good teams. You went to the championship game and you won it. Who's to argue that you're not the best team in college football? When it was 2, it was like, yeah, we're going to decide. We're going to put these 2 teams 1-2, go play for a national championship. And if you've been following the show long enough, you know how I feel about the 2 team. The 4 team, I guess it was better, but after what happened to Florida State last year, it wasn't better. Florida State got robbed, and they're terrible this year. Oh, my goodness. The fall from grace for Florida State this year in the ACC. They are terrible. And I'm not exaggerating. Terrible. 1-9. They are the only team in history to be ranked inside of the top 10 to start the year and be this terrible. Yeah. Poor Florida State, man. 1-9 on the year. We'll see how things shake out. I'm going to continue to harp on the beautiful chaos that we're going to see in college football over the next couple of weeks. I love it. We got one more segment here on the program today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We got one more. Back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a pretty mild start to the week around Lake Norman. We'll see some extra clouds today with the occasional patch of drizzle or a passing shower. Better chance for that, though, will come once we get into this evening. We'll keep those clouds around with a few passing showers, maybe even a thunderstorm for Wednesday as our cold front makes its way through the area and big-time changes arriving for Thursday with cold and wind. Get ready. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts.
Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Buy tickets at southernChristmasShow.com. Online tickets courtesy of Craft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway begins Friday. The Holiday Light Show features more than 5 million lights on a 4-mile course through the oval, pit road, and infield. The show also has drive-in movies on the gigantic Speedway TV. Speedway Christmas tickets and information are available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. The Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department will host a barbecue chicken fundraiser on Saturday from 1 p.m. until they're sold out. The event will be at Station 1, located at 501 Brewerton Park Road off Taylorsville Highway in Stony Point. The meal includes barbecue chicken, baked beans, slaw, roll, and dessert for $10 per plate and will be a drive-through event. The proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards projects for the fire department. For further information, call the Stony Point Volunteer Fire Department at 704-585-2519 and leave a message. Sunday Fun Day returns to Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum takes the stage at 4 p.m. for a free concert powered by Waves Entertainment. Grab your chairs, your dancing shoes, and your friends to enjoy cold brews and a fun outdoor concert by Rattle and Hum. We'll see you Sunday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for Sunday Fun Day. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Harness the healing power of horses. With the amazing staff at Willow Equine in Mooresville, we create a supportive environment conducive to healing and growth, dedicated to self-discovery and overcoming adversity. There's a program for you at willowequine.com.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News, talk, now.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment here on the Scoreboard. We talked about a lot so far today, man. We really have. We've gotten into it. Talked a little bit about high school sports. We got soccer regionals coming up today. Winners go play for the state title. Man, I know it's already over. Well, not completely over. We got into the NBA as well, talked about the Celtics and how they're averaging 51 three-point attempts per game. Oh, my goodness. 51 threes a game. I still can't wrap my head around that. They're taking almost 13 three-pointers per quarter. Man, like 15 years ago, if someone would have said that the team is taking 15 threes per quarter, people would have lost their minds. Coaches would have been trading play. I mean, why are you taking 15 threes a game? That's where we were at one point. Now, it's like, who cares? We're taking 50 threes a game. Not 15. 50. Jeez. So the state of the NBA, it's changing. Basketball, the game of basketball itself is changing. There are a few things that are in the news. By the way, we've been talking about all of this college football stuff. I forgot to mention, Oregon has clinched their spot in the Big Ten title game. So Oregon, the 1 seed, undefeated, they are officially going to be playing for a Big Ten championship in their first year in the Big Ten, remember. First year in the Big Ten. They're going to be going for a Big Ten championship. Now, Oregon's in a place where if they lose that game, it's like, okay, whatever, we'll drop a few spots and we'll still be in the playoffs. Other schools are not going to be that lucky. Some things in the news. Out of the NFL, the New York Jets are making moves. They fired their head coach earlier in the year. Well, now Joe Douglas, after 5.5 seasons as the general manager of the New York Jets, Joe Douglas is out of a job. He has been fired as the GM of the New York Jets from earlier today. Man, this team has not gotten any better since they fired Robert Saleh, have they? No, they have not. And I don't know how many people thought the Jets were going to be this bad. I didn't think it was going to be a train wreck to the point where they're 3-8. But I found it incredibly interesting that there were very high up there analysts, very smart analysts who were saying the Jets are going to go to the Super Bowl. No. What? The AFC is a bloodbath. I mean, now if the Jets were in the NFC, maybe, who knows? But you got the Bills. You got the Ravens. You got the Chiefs, the Chargers. The Steelers are good this year. I mean, any of these teams could win on any Sunday. Now the Chargers are good again. I mean, the AFC is an absolute gauntlet this year. And if you come out of the AFC, good chance that you're going to win the Super Bowl, honestly. Because when you look at the NFC, who is scary in the NFC? The Lions, obviously. I'll wait. I'll keep waiting. I'll wait forever because I think that's the only scary team in the NFC. Some people might say the Eagles, and I understand the Eagles are a really good team. But after what we've seen over the past couple of years with them, with Nick Sirianni as their head coach, I don't know if I can trust them in the playoffs. Remember, at this point last year, we were talking about the Eagles being the Super Bowl champions. I think they were 10-1 going into the next week. And then they just didn't win. They were like, yeah, we're just going to lose. We're going to keep losing. And then they lost to the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So I don't know if you could sit here and say that the Eagles are a dangerous team. Yeah, now they have Saquon Barkley. And that is huge. He is the perfect player for that team. And we've talked about how the value of the running back is not what it once was. You don't really need to sign these guys. Well, there's a couple of examples in the NFL now that I can think of where it's like, yeah, if you get the right guy who's really good, it makes a massive impact. And we're seeing that with Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry of the Ravens. Don't think I forgot about Derrick Henry. Oh, no. He has been one of the best running backs for the past, how many years now? And he leaves the Titans, and it's like, okay, he's going to go sign somewhere for cheap. He'll be a backup. No, he went to the Ravens, the perfect team for him, and he's having a great year. But I still don't know if I can consider the Eagles a real threat to win the Super Bowl. I don't know how many NFC teams are a real threat to win the Super Bowl. It feels very AFC heavy. And it has for the past couple of years. I mean, when you look at it, the Bills might be the favorite right now. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the undefeated Chiefs. Chiefs won 15 games in a row. Well, now they've lost in the regular season, though. Show me what you can do in the playoffs. We made that point yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and tell you that the Steelers are for real. I go back and forth on them. I didn't think that they were going to be all that good to begin with this year, but here they are at 8-2, 2 games up in the division. I'm sorry, game and a half up in their division. I got to start taking them seriously, right? When you look at the NFC, the Commanders are a surprise, right? 7-4. Jaden Daniels is the quarterback, rookie quarterback. That's the surprise this year. That's the team where you go, hey, I didn't expect them to do this. But I don't think they're going to go win a Super Bowl this year. There's a lot of good teams. Only a few great teams that I can think of right now off the top of my head. And this is why a lot of people have been picking the Lions to go to the Super Bowl. Even I picked the Lions to go to the Super Bowl. I don't want to talk about the other team that I picked to go to the Super Bowl because the Bengals have been doing nothing but bungling the season away. That's what they do. The Bengals are the Bungles, and that's all they do is they bungle it away. I was actually looking at my NFL predictions back from week 1. I had the Panthers coming out of the bye week at 5-5. I was a little off. I missed the wins, well, the losses, I should say. I thought they were going to be wins. Week 6 versus the Falcons and week 8 versus Denver. I thought maybe the Panthers would win that one. But I do remember saying that they're probably only going to win one game once they get out of the bye week because of the competition that they have. And I'm going to stick with that. I think they're going to have a rough time in the second half of the season, man. We're getting close to the end of the program today. I didn't do it yesterday. I forgot to talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, which, by the way, we didn't spend much time on it, but gosh, I don't know if I can say anything that hasn't already been said about that fight. If it was pay-per-view, a lot of people would not be happy. But because it was on Netflix, it was kind of like, most of us already have Netflix, so whatever. We just wasted time. But if it was a pay-per-view, there'd be some unhappy people. On this day, 1978, Cale Yarborough wins his 3rd NASCAR Cup Series championship. That was on this day in 1978. On this day in 1973, Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers beat the New Jersey Devils by a score of 13-4. Wayne Gretzky then went on to call the Devils a Mickey Mouse organization. And I think they only won 14 games that year. Mickey Mouse organization. How about it? 1990, on this day, Barry Bonds won the National League MVP for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember, he was good before he got to the Giants. People like to forget about that. I'm not making a statement on his Hall of Fame status. And in 2017, on this day, Martin Truex Jr. wins the Ford EcoBoost 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway to claim the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series championship. One of the greatest championship runs of all time, in my opinion. Furniture Row Racing. They shut down the year after this, that 78 car. Man, I miss small teams in NASCAR like that doing well. It was pretty awesome to see. One of my favorite champions in recent memory in NASCAR, just because small team, they were based out of Denver, Colorado. They end up winning a NASCAR Cup Series championship. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the program today. I love talking to each and every one of you out there. We're going to be back tomorrow, I promise. We're going to talk about the high school soccer regionals. We'll go over the teams that'll be competing for a state title. That'll be fun. We'll do that tomorrow, but until then, have a great night, everyone.